Alright, gonna look at Jar's point of view from Scrim, where we're playing Strongholds on live fire. I think our strategy on Strongholds is always to just basically hold forward. Once we get control, we want to constrict what the enemy does. So anytime that we can get a trip cap, it basically gives us a radar on the map, because every time they step in a zone, we know exactly where to collapse to next. And the goal is to basically split spawn them the rest of the game. So to kill whoever steps in the zone, let the next set of spawners start stepping in another zone, preferably just AC back and forth, and then we just keep running back and forth between those two zones. Generally, when you do that, you do need like an anchor guy who's kind of setting around B and kind of running this green path from green into big door into nest and kind of back and forth just to block these spawns. But the idea is still just to prevent the other team from ever getting a chance to get back into the game, because we're just too aggressive and too forcing in what we're doing. So I'm just going to look at this from Jar's point of view. Obviously, if I see anything like team-wise to point out, I'll point that out too, but kind of like the one vision of what a specific player is doing on the map. So we've kind of changed up a little bit on openings. I know sometimes two people go tower, two people go towards green. I would say, at least to me, and this is something we'll talk about as a team, is like the most important thing on the map right now is the sniper. The second most important thing on the map is the B stronghold. Because if we get B, we start scoring, but the sniper is such a power weapon that it can really restrict movement around. So would kind of wish two people go tower. But this is fine. Like, if we fight really aggressively over here, it's not a bad thing. And if I can hold people off the sniper, that's fine. I think, yeah, Jar's looking sandbags, which is fine, because these two guys are seeing the guys out big door. Just, again, instantly collapse. I would say just be as fast as possible around through here. Meanwhile, they do get sniper, but they're already two people down, and our team is connected again. So they're going C. Again, choices at this point are we fast enough to collapse, or should we be getting into A? The answer at this point is we're not fast enough to collapse, but the other end of this is we have a teammate dead, and since they're in C, our teammate's most likely to spawn at A, and he can start the cap. And let's see. Actually, he spawns B with us, which is also okay. I'd say he's playing for camo. The rest of us have a different idea. So this is the kind of coordination thing that we need to figure out. Like, are we playing for camo or are we playing for something else? We need to be better on top of that as a team. I'd also say a little bit indecisive from either me or Jar here. Like, Jar's got a QT. He should be really aggressive in fighting out, because he can always just translocate back to a safe spot. He does take a nade from the bridge, but like, I'm in the fight, and we just need to have better communication of like, hey, it's time to go, or it's not time to go. And it definitely wasn't time to go there, because Jar got hit with the nade, but now Jar's also like on an island because he didn't just go help. I think you just gotta strafe into your shots mechanically here to win this fight. You do get a trade, but that should have never been a trade in a million years. Alright, so we have a teammate in A, but we also have a teammate here, so I like the idea of pushing out the map some. Also looks like I'm pushing towards this, so we're gonna have like this point of contention here at pillars. Goes up top. Unfortunately gets hit with the snipe. This is kind of unlucky, but he does enough damage to that guy, he's gonna get cleaned up. And we're getting C now, so it's all good. We melt camo, that's great. This guy hits the C jump. And look at this. Look how beautiful this is. Like, we don't have B. They're capping A, so because they're capping A, we know there's at least one guy away from B, so we can play for B quick. And look at these guys appear pillars at the exact same moment that these guys, like, this is the best looking fight I think I've ever seen our team have. I might just take a screenshot of this. Like, look at this. Alright, but seriously though, like, this collapse is going to be so good because we're just going to poke damage and everybody's going to try to live as much as possible. Yeah, I would. So you spend a little bit of time looking this direction, a very, very minor detail, but if you just drop off and just kind of peek from this corner over here next to the box, you're in the fight quicker, but there's nothing to complain about. Like, this is an A level play. The best thing could be is if we get an A plus play. So this is very close to that. I would say we lost one guy, they lost 3 guys. I'm curb sliding off this box, or curb sliding off this ramp and going to A. My teammates are going to go to A. So this is a little slow for me. I would have liked you to have just went straight to rat tunnel and fight with me. This is really slow, but at this point, like, the collapse is over. We're too late on the collapse. So we just got to feel those timings out better. Like, when we have numbers, it's go time, and part of that is communication. As a team, we've just got to say, hey, we got 2 down, we need to go fast. Or we got 3 down, you know, we need to go fast. Because now this guy is getting a free flank through the map because we're just so slow. And these guys have already spawned up here, so they've got a free pinch. Meanwhile, like, we're going to get A because we've got 2 people playing for that. But also, like, if Oyster's calling this out, just bank some nades off that back wall and they'll kill those guys back there. You did hear a guy touch C, so I don't know if that mental timer is in your head. I know you're really focused on this fight, but yeah. Meanwhile, again, we're getting A just because 2 of us had the same idea, but this is kind of the efficiency things that when we play better teams, you know, 2 people having the same idea is going to get us beat a lot of times. Whereas if 3 people have the same idea, or all 4 of us are on the same page, we're going to be able to, like, reach another level. So off this spawn, we have all 3 zones. It's really just a waiting game at this point. Like, someone gets a call out or somebody says they touch a zone, and then we go play for the zone. So they touch A, and this looks good. Look at this. Look at these 2 guys. And then we got a teammate at B. Devin just died at C, so we know that there's at least guys at C, so this fight is going to be good either way because there's at least one not in A. I think Nick is definitely too slow here. He needs to be pushing big door. Like, at the same time that we are hitting this, you know, A plat door, he should be in big door fighting with us. But either way, this is going to work out. It does, and his idea was to go back to C, which is also not the worst thing, but he has to just time it the same as us, because if he gets up here too early, he's going to die, or he's just going to, you know, destroy both of them, which is completely fine as well. But you see, he's early. Thankfully, he got a trade, so this doesn't end up as bad as it could be. But I think if he pushes big door there, it's a little safer. But also, if he can just, like, you know, set at B pillars and watch his teammates and see when we're approaching top mid, then he can refulse up at the same time that we start to engage. So nothing to see here. We're getting C. To me, always team zones are more important than camo in this map, because camo is just so slow. Strongholds is such a fast game type that, like, by the time camo slowly walks over here, the entire game has already went on, so there's nothing really to worry about with it. Like, if we can get camo for free, or if we can get camo while we're trip capping them, then that's fine. We can contest it, because there's guys that are fighting for camo that are not out on the map doing anything more important. But I would rather us cap a zone than get camo, so that's just my opinion on it, at least on live fire, because of the way that the map's laid out. Like, camo's on this island by itself, and then everything else, and whichever direction camo goes, you immediately know, because as soon as they step in a zone, it starts to alert everyone. So I die here, we know there's at least a guy here, but we have a teammate in A. I also question, like, do we know that they are 3 alive? Because we know that we don't have to really worry about going to block zones. We can just be like, hey, let's collapse towards these guys, or let's hold position. Also, I just spawned in A, so we know A is clear. So the point of contention, since they just played for Camo, is definitely coming towards C. So we need to be booking it towards C. It's like, and yeah, like Camo shows up, but guess what? He's gonna die because it doesn't matter. He touched his zone, and now we just killed like 3 of them. Well, they're 2 alive, but they're playing for 2 separate things. So they just make the game really easy for us because they're not putting their numbers together and fighting. Nick's just slightly too early to this fight, and then I think like if I ever get a teammate B pillars, I'm probably trying to get down to training and get back green quicker. I do understand the idea of like keeping them from getting to the zone, but there was already a guy in the zone, so just getting into the fight quicker would have been cool, but this is all going to work out for us anyways. I think a little bit, like, it's hard to say because you're getting your shields back, which you absolutely should do, but can you do anything while you're getting your shields back? Like, can I step to the left of that box and look at sandbags, or look and see that this guy's coming, or anything without taking damage? Like, you poke out for a second, and if there's free damage, you do the damage. If you poke out for a second and there's a guy looking in your direction, then you just hide again. But this is all going to work out anyways, because, again, we're playing for the same kind of thing. And you're going to die to that. Again, minor mechanical thing, but either just drop off or just scoot up a little bit. You hear the grenades coming. Alright. So Nick's ahead, but he recognizes it and backs up. We got a guy in nest. Random guy coming up cuts, but look at this. We got 2 guys pointing in the same direction, so even if we get called off guard, it doesn't matter because we're here to fight for each other, so that's good. We know a guy's going into B. I think I'm pushing forward a weird route, but there should be some communication between us, like either you follow me up or we fight for B. And it's fine to get to sandbags and also put pressure on B from a different angle. I'm just going to get caught off guard in a one-on-one, and then we'll see what I do. The good news is I don't take the one-on-one, so it doesn't really matter. I live. And then here is a weird thing that happens to our team a whole lot. Like, I was just getting shot from this direction, and I run away. And then you get here, but I don't know if there's any communication between us to say, hey, just turn around and fight with me. Because if there is, then this goes a whole lot better. No, I'm playing for A. Yeah. Probably the weakest life from all of us there, like, collectively. Like, we're just not on the same page about what we're playing for, and that's why they're going to get a little bit more scoring. So I just spawned at C. I mean, we were 2 up, but we already had a guy getting shot on the map, so you can argue getting in is fine here, but I also wonder, like, does this work out better if you wait like 2 more seconds to see where Oyster spawns? Of course, if you win the fight, none of that matters anyways, but again, better team, do we win the fight? Like, straight up. And here you're getting shot in the back. It's really hard to do. Like, if you hit a quick curb slide and get down to B, maybe you live through this, but at this point, it's point of no return. Just do as much damage as you can and die, and that's exactly what you do, which is good, because we get a trade out of it. I'd say we're a little too spread out. Like, this is a scenario where even though they are 2 dead, like, there's not much Nick can do here if Oyster's over here. And the question is, should Oyster be with him, or should, you know, Carnage be with Oyster? Either way, as long as he doesn't stand here and die, which he does, it's not a bad play. Like, he can put some pressure on it and just back up. But because he dies, now our timing's off a little bit. But again, was the communication bad there? Like, should Oyster have been up the map with him? I don't know. So this is hyper aggressive. Like, I do like the idea of shooting that guy, but you got to get back green here, because if they were sandbags, you're dead. Thankfully they're not, so maybe the timing just worked out. But as you see, you're taking a whole lot of damage, where if you slide out like that and get shots in the big door guy and then just get behind this light side panel here, then everything's all good. Just play the perimeter of the map a little bit better. And now we kind of, once again, got a couple different things going on where I'm kind of fighting for C. Jar's trying to fall off the map. He does live though. And then Carnage is playing for camo. So we know that there's at least one guy left tower. And this isn't the worst idea because, I mean, the only thing I'm worried about is a guy popping out big door and shooting you in the back. But I know what we're doing here. We're just baiting the heal and then, oh, yep, free kill. So that works out really well. I do question, like, I'm way too late to this fight. Like, you guys have it handled, but there are more guys coming here. However, we also have one guy fighting for A. I'd say stay with the numbers, like, especially since you already see me there. Go 3 by 1, let this guy handle this, because my assumption is this fight over here is not going to work out too well. I guess it kind of works out since we trade. And then you kind of just go between two ideas, so a little bit of indecision, like make one choice and just stick with it. I'm going to this teammate or I'm going to this teammate, because now you're going to be late to both fights, right? Does work out in the end, especially since Carnage played his life instead of just forcing the fight. And then I also question again, like, should you be with me? Should you be filling in top mid? It's not the worst idea to come in and take an alternate angle. But if there was another guy following up on that guy's damage, like screens, then I'm dead and you're just your solo. But now we're 3 by 1, so this is all going to look really good. Even though we got 2 down, we've got 3 dead, and the last guy's in C. He's actually trying to make something weird happen, which is cool. He touched it and then got away, which kind of throws us off a little bit, but this is beautiful. Like, we've got guys here. I'd say I'm too early. Hopefully I drop and don't die here. I do, which is good. If I'm just a little bit slower, though, then this looks a little bit better. Of course, if you get up here, like right now, I assume there's a bunch of damage. Yeah, and you're just going to get the freest double kill ever. Even though you trade, it's completely fine because we just got them 3 dead. I think, again, a little bit of inefficiency by Carnage here. We just got them 3 dead. There's a mark here. There's no reason to go check B or anything. Just get in the stronghold quickly. And even if, let's say, theoretically, even if a guy just spawned back green, he's not a part of this play at all. Just get in the zone quickly. Stay with your teammates, and then if he starts coming nest by himself, then he's an idiot, and we're going to kill him either way. So this is good. You just got to be quick up here. Miss your jump. It's just a little mechanical, whatever. You definitely miss this call out. And then you finally hear it, and you're like, oh yeah, free kill. Weird Halo timing stuff, but it's all fine. And once again, we're just collapsing towards stuff, and the game should be over. Yep. Cool. So I think that match kind of showed a lot of good collapsing and just like setting the other team up for failure constantly because they're too impatient. They don't wait on their spawners and they just get in zones too quickly. I think it did show some inefficiencies in routing and like indecision. There's a whole lot of times in the match where you're going one direction and then just change your mind and go another direction. A lot of that's responding to callouts, but like we gotta ask ourselves, like, macro level, who am I playing for? Am I playing for this teammate or that teammate or whatever? And then micro level is when you hear a call out, can I respond to that call out quickly? Because if you can respond to it quickly, then sure, go play for it. But if you can't respond to it quickly, then your macro decision making needs to take over. Like, I'm already playing for my teammate. I can't play for that call out. And I think if we just simplify some of the decision making like that, things work out better. But either way, like, you took some good routes. You obviously followed up on a lot of damage, and really good match overall. I think we just got some minor things to clean up that'll make it even better.